It's a Southside sweep in round one. Welcome to the CHGO Crosstown Showdown post-game show presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Sox win game 2, 4-3. I'm Luke Stuckmeyer. We have a combined CHGO White Sox and Cubs post-game show. We're calling it the Crosstown Showdown. Representing the winning White Sox, Sean Anderson at home in what I can only describe as what looks like a bathrobe, and Herb Lawrence, the man in the middle right here.
Hello.
And we've got Cody Delmendo, and I'm Luke Stuckmeyer representing the Cubs, and we will have our beat writers hopefully joining us throughout the post-game show at some point after they're done with the interviews. Vinnie Duber, the White Sox beat writer for CHGO, and Ryan Herrera, the Cubs beat writer for CHGO. Guys, Sean, Herb, it's your floor. You did it. 2 on the road.
Always good to win, no matter who the opponent is. And when it's the Cubs, a little sweeter. 4-3 is a good victory. And we came out with what we wanted. Did they play a perfect game? No. Did the manager put us in the greatest situations? No. But a W is a W, and I feel good after this win. I know Cody's a little down over there. I want him to cheer up. His team played well. Our team just is a little bit better.
Well, you guys are a lot better.
Yeah, so
this bit
I don't know if people saw me freaking out in that bubble down there, but my mic stopped working the immediate second we went live. It got unplugged, and I had to jiggle the little cord down here for it to start working. So we almost didn't have me from the closet. But, Cody, just to cheer you up a little bit, I did run and make a quick stop because this is a closet, so it is pretty tight in here. I did get my broom. We busted out the broom for the Cubs here.
Put it down.
Well, you know what? Curb, I'm
higher.
in a closet. I'm in a closet. So hold on. You know, I mean, you can
literally
kind
in a
of see the
closet.
broom. You can see the broom down here. You see it? So,
Yeah, I see it.
Cody,
Now,
even though it's only
see it.
a 2-game series, Sox still sweep the Cubs. It doesn't feel like a real sweep, but, you know, in the closet, I was able to bust out the
And
broom.
Sean, we retained the BP Cup too, which is much more
Right.
important.
so you got that going for you.
Win trust.
What are you gonna do on your day with the BP Cup?
Oh, man, I'm probably just going to go up to Swingers and just have a real – or Sluggers, not Swingers. That's a different bar. Sluggers. and, you know, hit some bombs in the name of Minnie Minoso.
Oh, it's good days.
You know
Are you
what?
right over there, Cody?
You guys shouldn't be too excited. I mean, you built this is a rebuilding team, and Cody and I did say to ourselves before the series started, I said, you realize this is probably the series that gets the Sox back on track, right? Like, we kind of thought that was going to happen. And frankly, Cody, you look at this game, and even last night, they had opportunities. The Cubs had opportunities, and some of it was they didn't come through, and other parts of it was just bad baseball luck.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever. Alexander Timothy, salty again, eh? Thanks for coming back.
There's some angry people, yeah.
Yeah,
Someone
they can all
called
get
Tom
fucked.
Ricketts a fraud and Jed too.
I mean,
Cole.
I'm annoyed by again. The Sox, of course, scored their last 2 runs because the shift. The Cubs hit 2 hard balls right at guys. It is what it is. That's not the reason the Cubs lost tonight. Whatever. I'm just glad this bullshit is over. Let's get this over with at the end of the month.
They'll play 2 more. Cubs cannot retain the cup. But listen, the biggest story of the night was that Sean and Herb don't have to shave their heads, because if Madrigal hit a home run, they were going to have to shave their heads. And Sean, you weren't here, but I'm going to tell you, that last at bat for Madrigal, Herb was a little worried. He ended up getting on base, but Herb, there was a little bit of angst there.
I mean, it was more that Madrigal was going to get a big-time hit, which he did get a single. I thought he was going to get like a tying double right there to score Patrick Wisdom. I knew he wasn't going to get loose because, you know, I could probably take that bet for the whole damn year and Madrigal won't hit a home run. So I knew my hair was going to be smooth. Look at that. Yeah, hell yeah. Goddamn right.
When you growing it out? I've tried growing mine out, and it's too thin for me to get
mine
that much of volume.
Gets to a point and it just flattens out. So I can't grow a natural like that. I wish. Shit would be dope.
Yeah, and with Madrigal, I kind of knew that bet was going to be a win for us after that flying, bloop single that Luis Robert comes in and catches, but then
morons in
also throws him out at second base. Cody, I don't know what you're mumbling, buddy. You got to speak up.
Cody's
on
mad
that.
in the
Talk about
chat.
the comment
I'm mad at
section.
the
Comment
chat.
section is full of a bunch of morons. Holy shit.
God.
You can tune them out. It is allowed to tune
Well,
out the
I'm
comment
listening
section.
and
Focus on
reading.
the conversation here.
It is what it is. They're saying what they can say.
I mean,
This one dude just compared Suzuki to your main Mercedes. That's a hot take. Shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Fucking someone compared Stroman to Vince Velasquez in my mentions the other day. Eesh.
This is tough. This is
I
tough.
mean,
It
I
shouldn't
get
be
it.
tough to
They
take,
won two. They won two. I'm giving them credit. It is what it is. Am I not allowed to be pissed about it?
Yeah, you are.
Shit.
But it was expected. The Cubs are in the middle of a stretch of 11 games where they play the Braves, the Brewers, the White Sox, and next up the Dodgers. Like that's 4 teams that you could say they'd be on PointsBet as somewhat favorites to win the World Series. They'd be in the conversation, all 4 of them at some point. And right now they have 2 wins. And I said going into it, like, if you win 4 games out of that stretch of 11 games, you got to feel okay about it. You don't have your 4 starter. You don't have your 5 starter. You have some other guys that are out. Yeah. And you're a team that's rebuilding and exploring for the future.
Exactly. It is what it is. Much better at bats tonight. We're spinning the old moral victories over there the last 4 innings, Luke.
Yes, we were.
So whatever.
The last 2 innings ended on. It was at least fun to watch. Like I thought game 1 of the series was sort of boring, and it was more about watching the rain shots come through, and this guy's freezing on the bench, and it was whatever. That game should have never been played. Tonight's game was a fun baseball game, even for Cubs fans. It came down to a couple pitches that were literally painted on the line for strikeouts in the 8th and 9th inning. Foster's was probably the bigger one.
Yes.
And we did we'll talk about our click to pick and our who you got, but if you had to pick a player of the game, Foster, you could point to Foster and say he was the guy. Like he got the biggest out of the game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's shocking for Sox fans. I mean, the fact that Matt Foster, a guy who was sent down to AAA last year, is having this early of success this early in the season. He's been fantastic. He was fantastic in that shortened 2020 season, Herb, but now he actually has 3 pitches, and Jason and Steve talked about it. He now has more control of his fastball, and we saw that. He was putting in great locations in that last out that he had, and we know that changeup's major league level. So, I mean, Matt Foster really developing into his own. It makes you wonder why they spent money on Joe Kelly if Matt Foster is going to be this good, but it is just the rich get richer. I mean, this Sox bullpen is dangerous because I do think that, Bummer's going to figure it out. He obviously struggled today. He didn't have a sinker, I think, below the belt at all. So that's going to be something they need to fix. And I know him and Katz are working on it, but it looks like Hendricks is back. And, even without Crochet, this does look like a very, very mighty bullpen, especially with Dragula Matt Foster coming out, shutting down in the 8th inning. I didn't love the move that he went to Foster, Tony La Russa there. But, I mean, it worked, and he was fantastic in those 2 at-bats.
I wanted to ask you before we, continue with the good stuff. The worst thing, the most egregious thing that happened today is Tony La Russa. After the 7th inning, you've seen Kendall Graveman dominate 6 pitches. I'm like, okay, you only threw 6 pitches, smooth. You can come back out for the 8th inning, and if you run into trouble or if you get to a pitch limit, Liam Hendricks or Matt Foster can come in and clean up your mess. But no, after 6 pitches, Kendall Graveman goes out of the game. He brings in the guy you just mentioned, Aaron Bummer, and Aaron Bummer does not have a good game. I first guessed that. I was like, no, this is a bad move. Firstly, you have 2 right-handers coming up, and I know Aaron Bummer, when he's right, has reverse splits. He's fine. But that rocket shot by Patrick Wisdom to start it off, and then Nicky 2 strikes with a hit, and he didn't have it, and he hasn't had it most of the year. I didn't like Tony La Russa not bringing back Kendall Graveman in the 8th inning. What'd you think? Did you first guess that move, or do you think that it was a fine move, all right, and it worked out cool, so we're good?
I think it's fine, especially in the regular season. You want guys to be used to, having the same role. You're going to pitch an inning and, then we're going to pass it along. I mean, Raylo only threw 7 pitches as well. Raylo looked fantastic in that one at bat against Contreras, and they end up taking him out. They could have gone, Reynaldo for another frame there. They could have gone Graveman after him.
Slider, though,
and then they could have skipped, what's that?
He hung that slider to Contreras.
That was a curveball. So I want to talk
did.
about that a little bit later. I mean, we could talk about it now because, Luis Robert ends up running into the center field wall in a dead sprint, giving Sox fans everywhere a heart attack. It looked like he, pulled Gus Farrat when Gus Farrat scored that touchdown and then ran right into the the stands out in Washington. But let's look at this, Herb, because Raylo was fantastic in that 7-pitch at bat. These are the only 7 pitches he threw today against Wilson Contreras. You see the fastball up there, up and away from Contreras. You love to see that. You see the sliders down. And when he started was slider on that first pitch, gets a called strike, a beautiful called strike. And I'm surprised because he went slider, fastball, fastball, slider, fastball, fastball, curve. I think if he went with the slider, he would have gotten a better, result than the bomb that Contreras hurt. But, unfortunate for Contreras and unfortunate for Cody, that's the bad luck of baseball. He probably had one of the best hits all night, but he just hit it to the hardest part of the ballpark, and that's bad ball luck. But Reynaldo, I think, really showed a great fortitude as a guy who has been a starter coming in a very high leverage moment against Wilson Contreras, only facing one batter and getting the job done, even though, I think he could have even had better results if he pitched a different pitch on pitch 7 there.
Sean's right, though. It's all how you look at that at bat. Like we said, the Foster strikeout was the play of the game. The other play was, the catch at the wall. And really bad luck for Contreras. I think it was the hardest hit ball of the night. One of them.
Yeah. It was crushed.
One of them for sure.
106 miles per hour. Yeah.
I thought that
Crushed.
ball was gone, and I thought Nico Hoerner had 2 home runs too. They had a couple balls that went to the warning track where I was like, man, in the summertime, that's a couple rows back. But that's not the night it is. It's still cold here, obviously.
Robert had the hardest hit of the night. Wisdom had the hardest hit for the Cubs, the 107 mile per hour home run.
And that was like
Contreras'
106, right?
Yeah, Contreras' flyout was 106. This is the bad luck right here. Wisdom 107, Wisdom 107, Hoerner 106, Contreras 106. Now 3 of those were hits. Wisdom had 2 hits, a home run and a single at 107. Nico hit the home run at 106, but the fourth one at 106 just found Luis Robert's glove, and then he found the wall shortly after.
And then Seiya Suzuki had one that was hit pretty hard too. Was that the shift killed the Cubs on that one?
The shift killed him on that one. That was a ball right into, I think, Josh Harrison's glove. But I don't even think they had anyone on base for that one. They might have. It doesn't matter. They left plenty on base.
I believe it did. It was a frustrating night for the Cubs offensively. Not because they weren't making hard contact. Like Cody, you were saying throughout the game, like the approach is right. And we'll talk about that stretch where Giolito lost it, but
can suck it.
They struck out 12 more times, Cody. Like that's 24 strikeouts in 2 nights in this series. Like that's too much for a lineup that is supposed to be based on contact first.
Yeah.
So that part of it is a problem.
It definitely wasn't perfect, but it was definitely better than the night before.
Agreed.
If you can't see that, then I don't think you know anything about baseball. So,
Bob.
It is what it is. Again, it sucks. I don't know. This one, I feel like the Cubs were lucky to even to lose by 1. In my opinion, the Sox should have ran away with this game. It started off hot with Abreu hitting one off Hendricks. Nico, we keep talking and praising him. He's got a bright future. Patrick Wisdom, we were going over his numbers earlier. The batting average isn't great. The on base isn't great, but he's got slugging, and he's had some really good defensive plays tonight. And then, after that, Giolito really settled in. And honestly, those middle innings probably, in my opinion, kind of decided the game outside of the 8th inning when the Cubs, had 2 on with no outs. And, we all know what happened. So, despite that, though, they had other chances. They could have, scored more. And also, they had a 3-1 lead. They couldn't hold it. So, you tip your hat. They're a good baseball team.
Cole Gross wants to see him stop the shift. Can they stop that? It's kind of funny because it feels like the shift is a weird thing. Like the analytics and the data tell you this is where you should be playing. And when it doesn't work and your team hits the ball either where it would have been a hit that in that place. It's like,
right.
You never forget it. So I don't know what the numbers show, but I hate the shift, period. I hate it. I hate it when it works. I hate it when it doesn't work.
Right.
It's ugly.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing too. Say's hit that you were talking about next year, that's not a hit because of the shift. And two, I mean, this plays into the White Sox whole philosophy of hitting this year. They had 27 balls put in play today, 26 yesterday. So they are just littering the infield. They're making you make defensive plays. That's why they ended up winning yesterday. They forced Wisdom to make that play. He ends up making that errant throw, and the Sox end up scoring a run that inning. And then just bad shifting, or not bad shifting, but bad luck, honestly. I mean, Gavin Sheets hitting a 68 mile per hour floater down the third base line just doesn't happen. He's a pull heavy guy, especially going up against right-handed pitchers. So that's just bad luck, honestly. But that's also the White Sox kind of theory. Let's put as many balls in play because at some point they're going to have to fall. And people use the term Babbitt merchant for Tim Anderson, batting average on balls in play, because Tim puts so many balls in play. I think the White Sox are honestly just adopting that a theory, or that philosophy. Let's just put as many balls in play as possible because, hey, maybe it'll be 106 miles per hour and go off the bat for Jose Abreu for a home run, or it'll be, the third inning. They had 3 hits that averaged 78 miles per hour, but they end up scoring a run, and that might have been the difference maker right there as they win 4-3. So I really do love the approach that the Sox have been having, and I think, Herb, we've seen a little bit of the first pitch stuff cleaned up a little bit. Some guys still, being aggressive on that first pitch. We saw Luis hit a double off Hendricks on the first pitch, but overall, I like the approach, and I do like the philosophy of, hey, let's put as many balls in play as possible.
It's working, and when the White Sox play like this, they played for the most part a clean game. The players out there, I didn't like they didn't score late in the game right there where they had bases loaded, and I forgot who hit into the GIDP, but I was like,
Pollock.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, AJ Pollock came through, he takes away and he gives. He got the RBI single to get the game-winning hit, and then when we can put them away for good, GIDP right there. So for the most part, the guys played well. They played authentic, great baseball. Giolito did the same thing the start before, where he gives up 3 runs, but he strikes out a bunch of people. As these guys said, he lost it in the middle of that. I think it was the at-bat versus Frank Schwindel, who is struggling himself, walks him, and then gives up that rocket home run to Nico Hoerner, who this man, Luke Stuckmeyer, called.
Win for me.
And then Luke Stuckmeyer standing by the TV, and he's like, Patrick Wisdom's going deep right there too. He went deep right after that. Goddamn, no Stucky.
That's right.
There you go.
It was only
That was
because
the
you
highlight
could
for
see
us.
that
look.
Giolito had lost it for like 4 batters. And, Wisdom takes advantage of mistakes. He strikes out a lot, but he will take advantage of mistakes. And Nico's been one of their best hitters. So it wasn't like genius thinking. You could see that something was wrong. Giolito had missed a bunch of spots, and then, he got it back together and he strikes out 5 guys in a row, and you're like, okay, this is over for a while.
And in that time, the only thing that was working for him was his changeup. That was all night. That was consistent all night. His changeup was filthy. What'd you have to say, Sean?
Well, yeah, I want to look at his pitch mix. Let's just talk about Giolito and those at-bats, because you're absolutely right, Stuckey. Those mistakes, the fact that they took advantage of those mistakes, that's what makes this Cubs team so dangerous. They make as much contact as possible. They're not going to strike out a ton unless Lucas Giolito has his changeup working, but they were able to hit his mistakes. And you see right there, Herb, you said the changeup's working. 9 whiffs on the changeup tonight for Lucas Giolito. Absolutely absurd stuff. But let's go to the Hoerner at bat here, and let's talk about the pitches that Hoerner saw, because Hoerner, he's given the White Sox hell so far. I do not want to see that guy in the AL ever. I hope he's a Cub for life. I hope I don't have to see him too often. I know that equal play is coming into the to the league next year, but as long as he's not in the American League, I will be happy. But you can see it, like you guys talked about, Lucas Giolito losing it. In that first pitch, he just misses the strike zone with that slider. He gets back with that fastball at the knees right there, but he misses third pitch with the slider outside of the zone. He misses with the changeup on that fourth pitch, and then he basically makes the second pitch. Hoerner's already seen this, and Hoerner just absolutely hits it on a rope. He puts it more elevated. He basically puts it on a tee for Hoerner. That's a mistake right there from Lucas Giolito. That's, really an issue here with first pitch called strikes, or first pitch strikes. I'm sorry. He only had 10 first pitch strikes out of the 21 batters that he faced. That was Lucas's biggest, issue tonight. If he had a first pitch strike there, maybe he doesn't make that fastball pitch because he needs to get a strike in a 3-1 count. Hoerner takes advantage of that mistake on a fastball count, but he ends up cleaning it up. He didn't clean it up for Wisdom. Let's go to that at bat. The sliders were the issue. He went back to back, and he ends up getting Wisdom a little bit later on the same thing, but Wisdom ends up taking this one deep. So the first pitch, a curveball, again, a ball on first pitch. That's not good for Lucas. He needs to clean that up. The second pitch, the fastball right there. He tries to go to the slider and gets the called strike in that third pitch on the outside corner. Tries to go back to it on that fourth pitch, but Wisdom didn't offer at that third one. He already saw that first one was a little bit too close to taking, so he ends up spitting on that slider. The fastball at 5 misses. That changeup right there at 6, Wisdom drilled down the third base line. He was super early on, and then Lucas puts it basically in the same exact spot. The bat's already sped up, 107 off the bat. That's kaboom right there. That's a hitting a mistake right there. So, Lucas needs to clean that up a bit. Lucas needs to help himself getting into 0-1 counts more. But then going to this the at bat for Wisdom in the 6th, he ends up going to that same slider combination. But what helps him is the fact that he got a first pitch strike. You see it right there. He gets on Wisdom 0-1. Then the second pitch, 0-2, and then he's got a ton to play with here. He gets Wisdom again on the slider and then puts him away on a similar slider well outside the zone. You look back at the first at-bat, that second slider that he ends up throwing him on the fourth pitch is better in that first at-bat, but it's the fact that he gets the first pitch strike on Wisdom in the 6th inning. So he ends up cleaning it up, and Lucas had a really, really great night. Called strikes plus whiff percentage of 37%. MLB average is 27%. And you saw it in his last at-bat against, I think it was Happ. He ends up getting 2 called strikes off the plate, but he ends up hitting the same spot over and over again. That's skill right there. Lucas Giolito is really becoming a skilled pitcher. His stuff is already nasty, but he's finding how to make everything work together. And it didn't work perfectly tonight. He still needs to clean up some things with first pitch strike issues. 10 out of his 21 again. But if he cleans that up, we're going to see a lot more dominant starts from Lucas Giolito.
Guys, we have a super chat here from All Love here.
Whoa!
$5 super chat. In my opinion, the White Sox are failures. Sure, they're going to be decent in the regular season, but they haven't won a playoff game in 3 years. Sit down.
Appreciate the money, brother, but you're wrong. They literally won Game 3 last year. I mean, if you say they haven't won a playoff series, you might be right. But they won last year, Game 3. Leury Garcia, he's on the team for this year and 2 years after this because he hit a big-ass home run in that game. Might want to have to check that game out. Yeah, it's on YouTube right now.
All Love has corrected it for free, saying 3 years haven't won a playoff series.
There you go.
I mean, we haven't won a playoff series since 2005, so let's calm down.
They've won two playoff games since 2022. But yeah, I mean, I really don't care. I mean, that's fine. They're going to the playoffs. They've gone to the playoffs in 2 consecutive years. That's all that matters for us. As long as they go to the playoffs for 3 consecutive years, let's just keep building on those appearances. The Cubs didn't win it right away in 2015. They had to go back in 2016 to win it. So it's all about getting there, and that's all that matters for the Sox.
Somebody mentioned in the chat also about. You mentioned Nico Hoerner. You're like, I don't want to see him in the American League. And they said, well, you might see him when they realign the divisions in Cubs and Sox. I was curious have you guys ever thought about that?
Yes, every day of my life.
Would you like to see them in the same division?
100%.
No,
you would get this every day. Every 14 times a year. This is much better than the 4 they're going to give us this year. Give me this excitement. Every damn year. Who cares about playing the damn Royals or the Tigers or the Guardians?
So Cubs, Sox, Cardinals.
If we had there's nobody. We're not calling the Guardians people about a crosstown thing. This is a real show because this is a rivalry. I don't care if you don't think so. You guys in the chats are fired up. Look at Cody. He's over here depressed like a motherfucker. Yeah, this is real. This is real.
We have 130 people watching. I think that's the most that we've had. So, I mean, obviously people care about this rivalry. I would love to see it 14 times a season or 14 times a year. That would be absolutely fantastic. I don't need to see those weird-ass Minnesota Twins. I don't need to see those ugly Kansas City Royals uniforms. I don't need to see those Cleveland, whatever the hell they are now. I don't need to see the Detroit Tigers. Absolutely give me 14 games of Cubs Sox. That'd be great.
I'd like to see, if you're going to do it, I would want 6 teams. I would want the Twins, the Brewers, Cardinals, Royals, Sox, Cubs.
I'm in.
I'm fine. I'm in.
I mean, the Sox have a natural rivalry with the Brewers when they were in the American League. I hate the Minnesota Twins. They were weird.
You'd have to send Milwaukee or St. Louis
Weird
to
ass
AL.
Minnesota Twins.
Yeah.
For me to get on board.
You get on board?
For me to get on board, you'd have
Who
to
doesn't
send
hate
Milwaukee
St.
or
Louis? Everybody.
I'll tell you what. Well, that's true. Everybody in Chicago does hate St. Louis. The only negative to it would be what you're seeing now is the weather. You just add another team where you just get miserable weather. We'll be going back and forth. Cubs and Sox just playing bad weather all the time until we get to July.
Let's get rid of those 2 East Coast teams and the Tigers and the Indians or Guardians, whatever the hell they're called now, and put that division together. Yes, give me more of this. These games mean more to everyone. 36,000 announced at the game today and a cold-ass day? Come on now. You saw how many people showed up in a rainstorm yesterday? Let's go.
It's Michael Givens versus Adam Engel in the top of the 8th. No one's on base, and you hear dueling "Let's go White Sox" and "Let's go Cubs" chants. Absolutely fantastic energy. I'm glad that it was warm enough. And another super chat from All Love here, even though he's been a White Sox hater. He says, "True, my guy, but if they don't win a playoff series this year, that's 4 years. That's not good. Even Catman would call White Sox failures." Yeah, I mean, if the White Sox don't win a playoff series, that is definitely a failure. I can admit that. But also looking in the grand scheme of things, the White Sox making the playoffs is a good thing. And if they don't make the playoffs and don't win a series, then heads may need to roll. But we're fine with that. It's all about improving the team.
The amount of nice things people were saying about St. Louis, get fucked. Oh my God. That's why we can't do that. No.
Yeah, and to that super chat, nobody would say more that the White Sox are failures than the White Sox fans.
Oh, you'll be all over them if they don't win a playoff series.
White Sox fans are pissed that they lost to the Oakland A's. They're furious that they lost to the Houston Astros in the fashion that did. Imagine if the White Sox lose another first round after all this buildup. Mercy. Everybody would be throwing shit. I would be pissed. Sean would be pissed. No, Vinny's not a fan. He's just covering the thing. But I'm sure a bunch of people, he'd be mad that he's not covering more games. Yeah.
Wait a second. You guys wouldn't just be mad if they lose in the first round. If they won the first round series and lost the next one, you guys would be pissed. Because you know why you'd be mad? Because they didn't add the guys they should have added. The starting pitcher you should have added. The right fielder you should have added. They had opportunity. The left-handed bat you should have added. Which I have offered possibilities for the future. Some have been accepted. Some have not.
If they get to the ALCS, I say that's a successful season. I would be mad if they lost, but I'm like, that's a successful season. Let's build on that, get to the World Series. But anything less than the ALCS is a failure to me.
I would agree with the team that they have.
Yeah.
But the thing is you got
my mic went out again. Yeah, I
got you. We kind of hear you.
We did that to you.
Weirdly enough.
Luke, some people in the comments were talking about Rossi playing or pinch hitting Yan Gomes for Rivas in the 8th inning. Some people were saying
incomprehensible. I saw was one word.
And some were asking, especially on Twitter. I've seen a few comments. I think people were asking for like a squeeze bunt or something like that in that situation.
I don't know.
Or just why even pinch hit for Rivas. I understood why he pinch hit for Rivas because he's a left-handed hitter against Bummer, who is a left-handed pitcher.
And Yan Gomes was 2 for 2 in his career against him.
Right.
So that's why he was going with, it's a small sample size. We say that all the time.
But he had a great at bat. He hit the ball hard. It just happened to go right into Tim Anderson's glove. I don't think, everything about that 8th inning, in my eyes, outside of Foster striking out Ian Happ, had a lot to do with just bad luck. Because Suzuki, the only reason I would say at least 75% of the reason he went after that high fastball, I'm assuming it was because they had Madrigal running. It's not like Madrigal is a speedster or anything. They had the hit and run on. So that's why he went after it. Unfortunately, the ball stayed in play. They caught it, and then Foster struck out Happ. You give Foster credit for getting Happ out, but what Ross was trying to do with Suzuki at the plate, it's hard for me to even really be mad at the call because the Cubs lead baseball in double plays. So like we're trying to stay out of double play. There's one out. Like what would you have done differently in that situation?
The Cubs.
I think it's a great point, Cody, just because, Matt Foster's known for his changeup too. So if he's out in front of that, he's going to roll right into a double play right there. It's just great pitching from Matt Foster. I think understanding this situation because, he throws two fantastic fastballs right at the top of the zone to Suzuki. Those are strikes, whether he swings or not. So, I mean, that's just great pitching by Matt Foster. But then putting it up and out of the zone, knowing that, they're probably going to send Madrigal there, that's either going to be a good pitch for Grandal to throw down to second base on, or, exactly, they did have the hit and run on. It's bad luck for the Cubs, but it's also just, it's great baseball when you do have runners on first and third with one out. So I really do just, got to give some credit to Matt Foster. You're right that I'm
giving credit to Matt Foster.
Absolutely.
Again, I just feel like, when he came into the game, the Cubs, I felt like, Gomes hitting the ball hard. You got exactly what you wanted out of him in that moment. It just didn't work out, But then Suzuki comes up. Foster gets those two high fastballs and gets him to swing at it. So you give Foster credit there. And then, unfortunately, he they had the hit and run on that third pitch. And again, there's a lot of credit that goes to Foster on that. It's just avoiding the double play, trying to just get that runner home. And it's almost like, I guess if there's any blame on the Cubs there, is overthinking the situation, I guess. I don't know. But I can't be mad at Yan Gomes. That's what I'm mainly talking about because there's been a lot of Yan Gomes slander.
The Cubs didn't lose because Yan Gomes hit a line drive to Tim Anderson. They lost because there was a great catch in center field, there was a great strikeout by Foster, and there was a strikeout to end the game with Hendricks. Those three things. Those are the three things you remember from the whole series, along with Berger running into the wall, because other than that, the Sox won on a couple of dribblers to third base, a Pollock pop-up that fell on a shift that went down for the game-winning hit basically in this game, and the Cubs struck out 24 times in 2 games. End of story. It's not like one side dominated the other. It was just, it was really bad luck on one side, and the other team made more key plays.
I know what you're saying.
Sorry to cut you off, guys. Our guy JaxO23 is back. 3 times in 2 days. Yeah. Another huge super chat from him. He says, "Let's go White Sox. I hope Luis is okay. The last thing we need is for him to be out with an injury, and it sucks that Vaughn is out. I need this team to win the Boston series and the Yankees series since we need those wins."
Correct.
Jaxo, thank you.
Big series.
Jaxo is my favorite White Sox fan in the chat.
Ever.
I agree. And I'll say, well, Herb, I'm just going to jump in. I would say, and sandwiched in between those Boston and Yankee series is Cleveland. I think that might be a little bit more important for the Sox right now because they're looking up at Cleveland in the division. But shout out to Jaxo for being one hell of a White Sox fan.
Thank you, Jaxo. And then another super chat from
All Love here. He's back.
You want me to read it?
You guys missed your ace closer, David Robertson. I don't know who you're do you talk about the White Sox? I mean, not really. But blank name up there was talking about Nick Madrigal has his second best thing is his speed. He's a 54th percentile speed guy. And if you were watching with the White Sox, you know that man is a dumb base runner. Not just bad, dumb. And you saw it today. Even though Luis Robert caught that ball in the slide, where you going, kid? Where you going?
They had 2 outs. I liked him trying to do it.
He's a dumb base runner. He's got a horrible baseball IQ. I told you Cub fans about him. He's dumb.
Just done that over and over again. And then Cole Gross saying Robertson will be a great trade piece. Just going back to All Love here, I did say Josh Nelson throwing out Herb that the White Sox have a great left-handed outfielder in AAA right now that they could trade for him. We could just do the Blake Rutherford thing all over again. So there we go. We can make that swap, and they could get another failed Yankees outfield prospect, join Clint Frazier.
Ooh, you're already out on Clint Frazier. Wow, what a throwing daggers. Why, man?
Come
Why,
on,
Sean?
I gave you guys a gift at the beginning of this series.
That's true. That's on me, Luke. I'm sorry.
I like that Madrigal tried to take second base. If Robert tried to, if he had dropped that ball or not,
he would have been out.
Yeah, but with 2 outs, you like the aggressiveness.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
What?
That's dumb.
He got us into a lot of issues doing that shit. So,
with
that's
2 outs,
no, you turn the lineup over, you go up to the top of the order again with Rivas. So yes,
I disagree.
No, Hey,
I disagree.
Enjoy these.
It didn't matter.
Hey,
it didn't matter either way.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy dumb baseball then.
He's their problem now. He's their problem now. He's not our problem.
Right. I'll be watching from the side of my eye. And every time he does a dumb base thing, I'm like, Toot Land, magical. Again.
That was literally the first time all season. So.
Cody,
if you want to call it.
More's coming.
Can we pick up Cody for a second? Did you have any bets on PointsBet or anything that you won tonight?
No.
Did you have any outside of baseball bets?
The only thing I won tonight was Brewers -1.5. We've been slamming it on the bet show every week. If you're not watching the bet show, I've been carrying the show. Just to say it.
Sean just sitting there chilling.
Stuck in his closet.
Anyway,
just going to let that rest, Sean?
I'm cool. Hey, I got $62 off Jose Abreu hitting a home run, but Cody doesn't want to hear about that.
Yes.
Sox won 4-3 and swept
we
the
all
Cubs.
win some, we lose some.
Sorry,
I'm glad you're catching up, Sean.
Yeah, Sox win. Sox sweep. I can't hear you. Yeah.
Anyway, me and Sean make our bets on PointsBet, and it's the best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we'll help you. Remember that PointsBet is your home for live in-game betting. They even have a new exclusive feature, Live NBA Same Game Parlay. For the first time ever, build the perfect live same game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. You can even boost your live same game parlays. And now online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can actually download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. I say it every show, at least for the Cubs, that if Luke can do it, so can you. You should see Luke look at his iPhone every day. It is a sight to see.
He was doing it today.
Yeah. Signing up with the fastest sportsbook is now easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. Use code CHGO to get two risk-free bets up to $2,000. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
PointsBet is a game changer in the betting world, and Strava is a game changer in the coffee world. If you want to start your day with a competitive edge, Strava CBD coffee is a game changer and has helped thousands of people to help improve their overall wellness and quality of life. Strava delivers delicious, fresh roasted specialty coffee infused with organic broad spectrum CBD. CBD from hemp doesn't make you high or hungry, but it does offer real benefits that can help you. It'll help you feel alert and focused without the jitters. It'll help you live your day more balanced with less anxiety and fewer aches and pains. Plus, introducing CBD into your daily routine can even help you enjoy a more restful sleep so you wake up feeling your best. The best part, Strava is all about quality. Everything is small batch, fresh and shipped straight to your door. Strava also offers concentrated full spectrum CBD tinctures for those looking for a more traditional CBD format with powerful entourage effects of benefits. CHGO listeners, can't even say the company name, CHGO listeners can save 25% off their entire order when you use code CHGO25. That's 25% off your entire order at StravaCraftCoffee.com when you use code CHGO25 at checkout. Discount coupon valid on non-subscription purchases only. One use per customer. And if you already love Strava, you can subscribe and save with the Strava Coffee Club. With Strava, you're in control. Save on your favorite coffees and have them automatically delivered to your home or office on your preferred schedule. Again, CHGO25. That's 25% off your entire order at StravaCraftCoffee.com.
Hey, by the way, if you're CHGO members, the deal this month is buy one, get one half off if you're talking about Chicago baseball merch. So, like, if you're watching on YouTube, these guys have on the Cubs and Sox merch shirts. Like, if you can get that Sox one right now, Sox fans, you buy that shirt, your second one would be 50% off this month. You go to our membership, you go in the locker, you buy it. It's got to be another baseball shirt. So maybe you're a house divided and you've got one Cubs fan and one Sox fan. Then you could get the other shirt half off and you wouldn't feel like you're paying full price on a team you don't like.
Cody, you embarrassed to show your Cub logo over there? Your CHGO Cubs logo? Yeah. There it is. Look how beautiful it is.
It's the Cody and Herb special.
Come on, Cody, give us a smile. It's all right.
And I'm fine.
Our producer,
Lawrence is like, he took a screenshot and put it on Twitter and tagged me and like
Captain Grumpy Pants over there.
Hello,
listen,
sadness,
man, like,
my old friend.
Yeah, like that's what it is. Like, yeah, I mean, I just hate losing, man. Like, what do you want from me?
Man, you chose the wrong team, brother. Whew.
At least this year.
Yeah.
At least this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they have won a World Series more recently.
I've been like this my entire life. I just don't like losing. It is what it is.
Nobody likes losing.
Why did I choose Chicago teams?
I don't know.
do this in the fall, too, when the Bears undoubtedly ruined my Sundays.
Yeah, you weren't even from here. Like, you're not from this area, right?
No,
you're from down south.
Down south.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't going to be a Cardinals fan.
No.
You could have chose the Rams when they were there in St.
not gross.
Louis.
There's a reason the Rams left St. Louis, too.
Cody seems like the perfect candidate for those guys that are Laker fans, Yankee fans, Cowboy fans. You should have just picked all the teams that are winning.
Warriors, Duke.
Yeah, Duke. There you go. He went with Duke, Warriors. Yeah. Those could have been your teams, Cody.
Look who's here, Sean.
Don't insult me like that. Come on, man.
Cody, he picked a lovable
Or you could have been a Missouri fan, like our guy Vinnie Duber.
Our White Sox
Fight
beat
Tigers,
writer.
baby.
There he is, the man, the
Vinny.
myth, the legend. Vinny, did you hear this deal? You almost got thrown in. Vinnie Duber, our White Sox beat writer for CHGO, is on. He's got a beautiful mustache. And in the pregame show, I suggested that if Nick Madrigal hits a home run, that Herb and Sean offered up that they would shave their heads. And I said, I'm only taking the deal if Vinny shaves his mustache too. And they threw you in on the deal. They're like, yep, no problem, Vinny. We'll shave the mustache. You're just lucky it didn't happen. That's all I'm saying, Vinny.
We would never volunteer your beautiful mustache, Vinny.
Guys, that's like, I don't know, that's like the Achilles heel right there. That would be taking away the source of my power, I think. I don't think you can do that.
It's the Andrew Vaughn trade chip. Your mustache is a non-starter here, Vinny. We would never add that into a package. Would love to talk to you though about somebody that we think should grow a mustache. Lucas Giolito. We mentioned it after he gives up the 2 home runs, but he bounces back phenomenally. What did Lucas have to say about this outing? Because his mistakes were hit really, really hard, but everything else looked really solid for the Ace.
Yeah, I think he was talking post-game more about a team effort. He acknowledged that those things did not go well early on. Those home runs that he gave up. I mean, the way this offense is performing for the Sox, 3 runs could have been it. I mean, and that could have done it for the Cubs right there. But don't think it's not the way it played out. And he was able to prevent any further hits from happening, really, with one exception. But he looked all right to me. He lowered that ERA, and I think that really you do have to look at what the rest of the team did in general behind him. Obviously, the bullpen was big in picking him up, and the offense did what they needed to do. Came through with some small ball in order to help him out a little bit. So, I think the White Sox are happy to be on a 3-game winning streak after the way the last couple of weeks have gone for them from a losing standpoint. So they're going to point to the team effort and anything that can get them a win at this point.
Yeah, and looking at the team effort, this is now the 9th time in 24 games that the Sox have scored 4 or more runs. What did they say about the effort today? They had 26 balls in play yesterday, 27 today. Any talk about just making contact and making sure that, hey, let's make sure it's in between the 2 white lines and see what happens?
Yeah, in fact, I think, you look at kind of the way they scored their last couple runs there, some balls that beat the shift a little bit there. And, someone brought up, is that what you were trying to do? Were you trying to beat the shift there? And Tony La Russa said, I think we were just probably trying to put him in play. So, it very much kind of comes down to a kind of take what you can get, hit them where they ain't kind of thing, even if you're not necessarily doing it on purpose. But, certainly a quite the dichotomy between the way they score their runs. They get the 2 home runs, but they also have to play a little small ball in order to get it done. And listen, if you're gonna win the way the White Sox want to win, championship level winning, you got to be able to do it in more than one way, and they were able to do that tonight.
Vinny, we saw a big time catch by Luis Robert in the 6th inning off the bat of Wilson Contreras. Hit the wall really hard. I saw the wall move a little bit. Any word about Luis Robert's health? Did he say he was fine because he played the rest of the game?
Yeah, Tony said that Luis said he was fine. Tony said, he's a strong guy, but he's not as strong as Brick necessarily. So, certainly some concern there for Luis. But like you said, he stayed in the game, got some hits. Tony was more impressed with the one he caught off Madrigal that he didn't get credit for catching. That pop fly there where he's coming in and catches it and then throws him out at second base anyway. So, a couple good plays in the outfield for Luis Robert tonight. What else is new? Obviously, this guy's a Gold Glover. We know what he can do defensively, but that's something that the White Sox count on, his defense out there, and he delivered in a way that, saved the game tonight probably.
The White Sox give $7+ million to Joe Kelly this offseason. They give $8+ million to Kendall Graveman this year. They're paying $11 million a year to Liam Hendricks. And it's Matt Foster closing out the 8th inning. What's up with Dragula? What's up with the Rob Zombie fan and Matt Foster? A great performance against Suzuki and Ian Happ tonight.
Bananas, as Liam Hendricks calls him. But yeah, I mean, hey, this guy's emerged, right? I mean, he was kind of the talk of the postgame, really. I mean, he said he's made some major strides since the end of last year. He had a little bit of an injury early on last year, never really kind of found out his footing. And Lucas Giolito pointed it out. He's gone through a bit of a transformation, added a couple pitches to the repertoire, and really kind of, finally delivering in a way that will look familiar to fans who watched him 2 years ago when him and Cody Hoerner were kind of the young guns out there in the bullpen that kind of lengthened things out. Now he's doing it again, lengthening that bullpen behind all those names that you just mentioned. Those guys, the veterans, the highly paid guys, are going to be the ones who obviously the White Sox are going to count on now and hopefully in October when, bullpen takes center stage and you got those guys going out there and pitching way more of the game than they usually do during the regular season. But that being the case, you want that bullpen to be as deep as possible. Matt Foster getting added to that list is only going to do that, deepen things for the White Sox. A good weapon if he can maintain that consistency. He's been really, really good so far early this season.
Yeah, and you talked about Foster dealing with an injury. We also heard Stoney and Jason mention that he felt like he has gained more control of his fastball. Did he mention anything about that tonight? Because that was very important in that Suzuki at-bat, that first at-bat that he faced. Did you end up talking to Foster tonight?
Yeah, Foster spoke, and I mean, he's in a good place. He's feeling confident, and I think that's a big thing. I asked him, when you get the results, when you can go through the transformation, you can do all the offseason work. When you finally get the results that you're looking for early on in the season, does that give you confidence? And he said it's a major confidence boost, and you can see how this can kind of snowball in a good way from one outing to the next, where it's just things go right. Things keep going right, and you're able to gain a little confidence out there. So, yeah, as Sox fans see Aaron Bummer deal with results that he obviously doesn't want, the team doesn't want, he's searching for kind of, normalcy on the Aaron Bummer front. You got another guy back there in Matt Foster who's kind of emerging as a weapon that they can add to that back-end group.
Vinny, after the strikeout of Nico Hoerner in the 9th inning, it looked like Liam Hendricks was a little emotional. Did you guys get to ask him why the emotions right there after striking out the last hitter, Nico Hoerner?
Yeah, we didn't. He looked emotional in the clubhouse as well. So obviously, maybe some stuff that we're not aware of going on with him, but certainly he's performed really, really well here recently, and probably happy to do so, in any circumstances. But perhaps some things going on that obviously we're not privy to that might have made his success tonight a little bit more emotional. So,
Vinny, a question from the north side. Wondering,
please, Luke.
Wondering if Tony La Russa addressed any questions about the amazing feat of the Cubs scoring one run at least in 70 straight games. What did Tony La Russa have to say about that? Thank you. I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah. Long time, first time, right, Luke?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was not asked about that, believe it or not. But no, a lot of things. He did have a lot of things to say. I mean, listen, this is this the last couple days, and even before they got to the north side, about coming here, about playing at Wrigley Field. Remember, he has managed a whole hell of a lot of games here at the friendly confines from his Cardinals days, and he had a lot to say about the improved conditions of the visitors' locker room these days. Not having to wait out any rain delays in a tiny closet that they somehow stuffed 30 guys into back before the renovation. So, some memories, perhaps not all of them fond for Tony La Russa of being at Wrigley Field, but certainly a long list of them from his long tenure in the Central Division.
I can't believe you didn't bring anything up about that.
Vinny, I was wondering, you said I was Herbie La Russa, if he spoke about the Graveman six pitch appearance and not bring him back out for the 8th inning, why he went with Aaron Bummer instead of Kendall Graveman.
Here you go. I did not ask him the specific move, but I did ask him what I think a lot of Sox fans are wanting to know right now. Is the strategy to keep running Aaron Bummer out there in these high leverage situations, which again, before the season started, Aaron Bummer was supposed to be a part of that group. These are the situations that Aaron Bummer was supposed to be pitching in. They need him to be successful in that role for the reasons that I listed earlier when we were talking about Foster. They need that back-end group to be as strong as possible, as deep as possible. Aaron Bummer's a part of that. And so earlier, within the last few days, Bummer, obviously has not had a good start. Tony was talking about it and said, he needs the reps. He needs to go out there and figure it out, pitch through this kind of a little bit. And I asked him if that was still the strategy tonight, and he said, give credit to the Cubs. He said, Bummer did what he was supposed to do, threw pitches in the strike zone, and the Cubs hit him and hit him well. And again, he only faced 3 batters. The 2 of them got hits. Tony credited the 2 hits that they got, complimented Bummer for getting that first out. I guess whether that's the strategy or not, Bummer had some success in Tony's mind, at least in getting that one out and bridging the gap to what was an amazing escape job by Foster. Tony's quote there was that it's an 8th inning escape he'll remember for a long, long time, talking about Foster. So when it comes to Bummer, that's the answer you got.
I got 2 final questions for you, Vinny. You can follow Vinnie Duber on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's the CHGO White Sox beat writer. Vinny, Yoan Moncada and Joe Kelly are currently in Charlotte. What's the update for those 2?
It looks like they will be back for the start of the homestand next week. Monday is the first game of a series with Cleveland, and it looks like those 2 will be back for the White Sox then. As for Johnny Cueto, which might be your second question, Sean, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here. He might be a part of that. We'll see. The results tonight were not very good down in Charlotte, but he's a guy who Tony La Russa has talked about as being a guy who they want to get here pretty quick. So we'll see if that's what ends up happening, if he comes up next week or if they get him another start down there in AAA. That remains to be seen. But yeah, the results tonight were not good.
Eric Beer says you have great breakdowns and that he loves it, and I agree. The other question was close enough. We see Vince Velasquez as the probable starter for Friday's game, but they haven't announced starters for Sunday and Saturday. Any theories here on what we might see on Saturday and Sunday for the Sox starters?
I think it's going to be an important weekend, to be quite honest with you. If you just go by if you just count it out, you'd probably see Dallas Keuchel and Dylan Cease pitch against the Red Sox in those final 2 games. But I think for Velasquez, I think for Keuchel, it's an important weekend. Like I just said, Johnny Cueto might be on the come here, and they've only got 5 spots in the rotation. Not that, they could use some help. Certainly, I would agree. But Dallas, has got to kind of figure things out. It could be a very important start for him. Vince, has coming off a really good start, but that's just one. If he goes back to the ways that he was pitching more like before, who knows? So there's some moves that might be getting made. There's just some decisions that might be getting made, and I think it could be very important for both Dallas and Vince what the results are in Boston.
So, Vinny, thank you very much for your information. We really appreciate it. Sean and I will see you tomorrow morning at 11:30 right here at CHGO. We really appreciate you joining us for a White Sox winner.
Bye, Vinny.
Bye, Vinny.
Brunch with the boys is back. I can't wait.
Damn straight.
Vinnie Duber. We'll be waiting for Ryan Herrera, who's going to be with us just shortly. Our Cubs insider at allchgo.com. In the meantime, real quickly, if you enjoy CHGO, one way to help us continue to grow is to download the PointsBet app and use the code CHGO. When you sign up, not only do you get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, even get you a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. Also sets you up for the buy one, get one half off baseball shirt deal we have going this month. Any questions, email pointsbet at allchgo.com. We will help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up available in Illinois. All you have to do is download that PointsBet app right now, register your account, start to finish, all from your phone, and you're signing up with the fastest sports book. It's easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just live your bet life. Do it now with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. We hope you like what we're doing at CHGO right now. Post-game shows. We've got reporters at the ball game. After every game, we're doing pregame shows. We're a little something for everyone. We've added, with the Sky's got a podcast now. The Fire have a podcast. The Red Stars have a podcast and a show. So we're trying to get everybody involved in Chicago and get Chicago sports fans a place to go after their games, before their games, and in between their games, literally every day. So we hope you're having fun with that. White Sox win 4-3. They sweep the Cubs in this series of just 2 games, and they will play a couple more coming up at the end of the month on the south side. A lot of upset Cubs fans, and it sounds like we have somebody joining. Ryan Herrera.
Well, Oh, can I sneak a real quick stat?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is a great from, I think it's Brody Munch up here. Hendricks became the all-time saves leader from Australia, passing Grant Balfour. He got his 85th career save, so that is the most from an Australian. So I think that's why he was very emotional tonight, because he became the all-time leader for Australian saves.
Because Grant Balfour is a garbage dude. All White Sox fans.
Exactly.
Thank
you, Jose Abreu, for that
That's
one.
cool.
That is pretty cool.
And Ryan Herrera, our Cubs beat writer, out at Wrigley Field. Well, they lost to Cody and I were saying that we thought the at-bats were better in Game 2. The approach was better in Game 2, but it seemed like, Ryan, I don't know what David Ross felt, but it seemed like they had a lot of bad luck. They hit directly into a shift. They hit a ball right at a guy. That a ball gets knocked down to center field that in a month probably goes out for a home run, and they make a great catch on it. Like, they had opportunities, but the Sox made plays, and when they didn't make plays, the baseball gods handed them a little bit of luck as well.
Yeah, like you said, a couple, the Pollock go-ahead RBI, the game-winning RBI, was just, they had the shift on, the right thing to them, and then he just goes the other way. Same thing, I think Sheets had one the inning before, a little dribbler through out into left field. The Contreras one, that's you look at Baseball Savant, it has a 930 expected batting average. Like, that's more often than not a hit. So yeah, just a lot of bad luck, and Kyle really only a few bad pitches. I think he said that he felt more mechanically correct, like he was staying over the rubber, staying on his backside. Like the motions were there. Just a couple, that changeup to Abreu. Obviously, he just left that one up. I mean, both home runs he gave up were just into the basket. The wind usually might knock that down, but that also tells you that Jose got a good amount of it. But just a couple unlucky things. Yan Gomes hits that line drive, would have knocked in the game-tying run. Tim Anderson standing right there. That's had like a 570 expected batting average, but obviously it goes right into someone's glove. Just a few things. Seiya Suzuki hitting a line drive right at Jose Abreu. Rivas just kind of got caught up, and you get an inning-ending double play right there. So, it's that was just kind of the vibe down in the clubhouse. Just frustrating. A few balls bounced the Sox way that didn't bounce the Cubs way. Had their opportunities, especially right there in the eighth, just couldn't take advantage. The Sox just took advantage of a couple more opportunities. They did what they needed to do to win that game today.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me about all of those plays, Ryan. I appreciate it. I definitely wanted to hear them all over again. What did you ask about the eighth inning and Seiya Suzuki's at bat with I don't know whether you were able to talk to his translator or maybe even David Ross, because a lot of people on Twitter and even the chat tonight was asking, like, what was he like? Why did he swing at that third pitch and stuff like that? I thought it was because they had the hit and run on. Did they confirm that, or?
Well, David Ross was asked. I mean, it's an 0-2 count. You don't really put a hit and run on in that situation. No, I mean, they sent Madrigal, which you could see. Ross was asked about it. He said he thinks it was just Seiya protecting the plate. He had, was it Bummer? Bummer kind of blew a couple fastballs high, and high fastballs by him the last two pitches. So it was probably just Seiya Suzuki trying to protect the plate. Make sure it's not I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we didn't get a chance to talk to Seiya. He was probably working out. I know he does a lot of post-game stuff, so he wasn't in the clubhouse while we were in there. Yeah, I mean, there was no hit and run on there. It was an 0-2 count. It was just Nick Madrigal was stealing the base. Seiya was protecting the plate, probably hit, and then just popped out
that was the only reason I could come up with it. Like, I didn't know why. Like, no. We've talked at ends about how great his plate discipline is, and that is, I mean, he literally had to swing at it like a sword to make contact with that ball. So I just assumed. So it's kind of nice to know, I guess, now. I mean, I know the MLB is guys are starting to adjust to him, and he's going through a little rut right now. So it is what it is. But yeah, I appreciate you figuring that out for us.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like that situation is not a situation you'd see a hit and run. But also, like you mentioned, he's going through a little rough patch the last week-ish, week and a half or so. And maybe it's really just, maybe he's pressing. Maybe he's pressing a little bit, trying to get something done. So he's going away from a little bit of what made him really successful. Obviously, we talk about him, not swinging outside of the zone. That was kind of his thing the first few weeks. Maybe with what's going on, just a little struggles the last week or so that he's trying to get something done or trying to protect the plate. And, that's all it is, in my opinion, is just him protecting the plate. Nick Madrigal was stealing, but it's tough to see that, because you are wondering what the situation was in there. But yeah, I think without getting to talk to Seiya, I would like to, maybe we could ask him about it the next time we get to talk to him. It'll be Friday. But in my mind, it's just, he had gotten 2 fastballs high prior to that, and he probably just sees another one protecting the plate. And obviously it was a lot higher than the last 2, but I think that's just all it is.
Ryan, do you chalk up 24 strikeouts to just facing strikeout pitchers in Kopech and Giolito, 2 really, elite pitchers in the American League? Or was there anything different in the approach? Because I thought the approach from the hitters was pretty good, but obviously the 24 strikeouts in 2 games is a really high number for a contact-first lineup. Do you just chalk it up to 2 good pitchers?
Well, there are 2 really good pitchers, and obviously, a guy like Liam Hendricks, or just, I think it's a little bit of both. You faced a couple good pitchers. Giolito, obviously, he's in Cy Young talks every year, whatever, the last couple of years at least. But also, you see a lot of called strike threes. I think it was 4 or 5 today too, which is borderline pitches that weren't getting swung at. And so I know, Ross was kind of asked about it, and he said just based on the approach and trying to, he asked about a pregame. It was before the game, actually. And I'm not trying to put words in his mouth. I don't remember the exact quote. Let me see if I can find it real quick. So he said, that the Cubs were kind of just leading in called strikes, right? Just that, and you can tell on like Fangraphs and stuff, they're right up there with just called strike percentage. And he said, I think it's a product of who we are. We're just going to have more looking called strikes. If you're going to command the zone and you're really going to stick to that zone, that strike zone, you're going to strike out looking more than if you're chasing outside of the zone. So I think that is kind of a product of just the team, is at least what Ross said, of just they're not going to chase a lot out of the zone. So, but with that comes a little more looking at the edges, maybe. But yeah, I think it's a mixture of both, and that the Sox have 2 really good pitchers in Kopech and Giolito, who are able to attack the way that the Cubs, try to control the strike zone. Just did a better job of attacking than the Cubs did of protecting the edges or whatnot. But also the team is struggling. We know that. I think that's 50 or 60 strikeouts in the last 5 games, going back to the start of that Milwaukee series. So there's something there that's just not working. And so do I have the answers? No. If I had the answer, I would be the manager of a Major League Baseball team. Mm-hmm. But no, it's a mixture of both, in my opinion, where it's like you're facing good pitchers, and they did in Milwaukee, and Corbin Burns and Eric Lauer became a Cy Young candidate out of nowhere, and he's blowing fastballs by people, right? But then on the flip side, it's like the Cubs are struggling recently, and it's whether it's, they had this, whatever they were doing the first couple of weeks, and teams could see that and starting to adjust and starting to figure out how best to attack them. And that's what's kind of tripping them up. You see the called strike threes that's going on in the last few games. I think that, pitchers playing the edges more just in general might, I'd have to look at the numbers a little more. But you see, like, even, Ian Happ looking at that called strike 3 low in the 8th inning, that ended that rally. Nico, I think, was a low called strike 3, or in the, not low as in the bottom of the zone. So maybe it's just, sticking to that approach of.
Oh no.
I think we lost Ryan.
We lost him there.
All right. Well, I mean, you can read all of Ryan's work at allchgo.com. Vinny and Ryan will have their content coming up there tonight you'll be able to get it. And the White Sox have won this series. Cody's talked about it enough. He doesn't want to talk about it anymore. They'll play again at the end of the month, May 28th and 29th at guaranteed rate. I want to point out to White Sox fans that the Sox are undefeated since I presented a winning ugly pennant to Sean and Herb as a peace offering before the series. They haven't lost a game since. So if they go on to win the World Series, you're welcome.
Is he back?
We will remember you, Stucky, very, very
really
fondly
appreciate
if you
it.
win the World Series.
It's what's going to drive us to the World Series. We go on the road this weekend, 2 out of 3 from the Carmines. I'll take it. I'll look back and say,
the lucky pennant.
Luke Stuckmeyer gave us the 83 winning ugly pennant, and that's what turned everything around.
How much did you guys hear? When did I go away?
You heard that time when you were talking about Mizzou. Start from there and go. Keep on going.
Maybe. I don't know how much. I'm not going to go into that long thing because it was long-winded. But Luke, you asked about if it's just good pitchers versus something. The way their approach is. TLDR. I think it's kind of a mixture of both, and you can see that just in the last few games alone. It was so funny. I went through this whole thing. I'm talking. I think you guys are just like looking at me and listening to me. All of a sudden, I stop, and none of you make a move, and I'm like, I was frozen. I froze, and I have no idea how much they actually caught what I said.
We were going to do that again just to freak you out.
Hey, Ryan, real quick, any other news or nuggets? There were some injury updates, right, as the Cubs move forward now and they get the Dodgers. It doesn't get any easier. Like, any injury updates you have for us?
So I got to talk to David Bodie. I think he wasn't in the clubhouse yesterday, but I think one of the photographers caught him like in the dugout. I talked to him this morning. He says he's doing good. I think April 22nd, I think he said was that like 6-month point from his off-season surgery. So he says he's still, just getting to that kind of ramp up period. I want to say it's like June, first week of June, maybe like June 5th or 6th is when he's eligible to come off. He says in his mind that he thinks that right when he's eligible to come off, he can, but that he still has to sit down with Ross and anyone else, trainers, kind of figure that out for sure. But he says he's doing good, and he's going to start getting into some more baseball things, just kind of ramping that whole thing up. Wade Miley is to pitch tomorrow with Iowa, AAA Iowa, starting a rehab assignment. He said he's doing good. The other day, was it yesterday, we talked to him, and he said when he does, he wants to get 3 or 4 up downs, which innings, he wants to get to 3 or 4 innings. He'll be able to get up, pitch, sit back down, get back up, pitch, sit back down, that kind of thing. He wants to get at least 3 or 4. Getting to 5 would be great, but that's kind of a work in progress. So that's where he's at. Besides what came out yesterday, Alec Mills is, I tweeted it out. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think he's playing catch. No timetable exactly on when his rehab assignment will resume. But for now, he's playing catch. Yeah, that's what it was. And then Drew Smiley, still on the bereavement list, obviously. Potentially could start on Friday if he's back before then, but I want to say it's 3 to 7 days that you could be on the bereavement list. So that would be day 3. That would be after 3 days. I think Friday would be like the 4th day, so he could potentially come off and pitch Friday against the Dodgers. But obviously, if he takes the full time, he wouldn't do that. So that's TBD at the moment.
All right, thanks, Ryan. We're looking for your stuff at allchgo.com, and good work out there. Wasn't the result Cubs fans were looking for, but we'll be able to read about it at allchgo.com. Have a good night, man.
All right, gentlemen. Take care.
All right.
I give the floor to the Sox guys for the final thought here on their sweep on the north side before we wrap it up. Yeah, we'll give them 30 seconds.
All right, Herb, real quick. Thoughts on Gavin Sheets? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Down. Oh, I mean, overall or just today?
Overall.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Harrison and Pollock, thumbs down or thumbs up?
Down.
1 for 8 today with 1 hit, 1 RBI, 2 Ks. Yeah, those are the 3 guys that are really sticking out to me. Everyone else has been fine. Leury finally got away from the bad luck hitting a home run. But overall, good performance from the Sox, 4-3 victory. You'll always take this after you have an 8-game losing streak. So on to Boston.
Exactly, and the White Sox can continue their good play. I don't mind if they lose a couple. Boston's a tough team. If they lose 2 out of 3 and still play the way they play today, I would be not happy with the losses, but I would say, okay, at least they're playing at a level where I think it's acceptable, not the way they played during the 8-game losing streak. So use this Cubs series as a springboard to playing better and beating good teams like the Bostons, the New Yorks, the Cleveland Guardians, and then again the Boston, New Yorks, Cleveland Guardians, and the Cubs to end that month.
We wish you guys well. We split ways until the end of the month, and then we'll come back and do this again on the 28th and 29th. Sox get the sweep on the north side.
Thank God there's an off day tomorrow.
Thanks to Sean Anderson, Vinnie Duber, Ryan Herrera, Cody Delmendo, Herb Lawrence. Sox sweep, 4-3 the final in this one. Thanks for dropping in to check out the CHGO Crosstown Showdown postgame show. We'll see you at the end of the month. The Cubs get the Dodgers next. Who do the Sox have? Oh, yeah.
The Carmines.
The Carmines. Good luck to you.